Jason Repack. I'm the president of the Horry-Georgetown Home Builders Association. At this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order and thank you all for attending today's meeting. I'll try and get out of this. Maybe. Does that help? Yeah, I think that helps. So just a couple of quick general announcements and some talking points sent over by National that are exciting or were exciting for me to hear. Although, of course, we still have some supply side challenges and some lumber pricing issues that our national organization is fighting through, and they're lobbying on our behalf and trying to get those issues fixed. The NAHB economists are forecasting growth in 2021 for the housing industry, and we are forecasting for the first time in 12 years to surpass 1 million new housing starts. So that is really, really exciting news for our home building industry. At this time, I'd like to welcome and introduce welcome our guests, and have them introduced at today's meeting. If all of our members who brought guests with them could stand and have their guests stand and introduce them. Thank you. So welcome to all of our members, welcome to our guests. Thank you so much for bringing people with us, with yourselves to visit today at our meeting. At this time, I'd like to call Stan Gottschall, Port City Elevators, up to give our invocation and knock over our lights.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for this organization that we can gather. In your name, Father, we thank you so much. Ask that you would bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies, us to thy service. In Jesus' name, amen.
So, in continuing safety for trying to keep everybody safe, I know we're all ready for COVID to be over and get back to normal life, but we are going to be dismissing everyone by rows. To start with today's buffet, if we could please have our entertainment staff, our video people, he made sure I mention our video crew is very hungry. Anyone speaking at today's meeting, we're going to have them start off with. Thank everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying their meal. And as everyone's finishing up eating, we're going to go ahead and get on to the next part of our meeting today. And at this time, I would like to welcome up Charles Foster. He is the board liaison to our membership committee. And he is going to recognize and install our new members today.
All right, thank you. I'm Charles Foster. I'm here today as your membership committee board liaison to induct our new members into the Horry-Georgetown Home Builders Association. When I call your name, please come forward, accept your plaque, pose for a picture, and then return to your seats. When everyone's received their plaque, I'll ask you to stand where you are seated and respond to the pledge directly. Custom Shed Builders, Thomas Slack and James Slack, affiliate Cameron Burns, Fortex Styles and Designs, Mike Hayes, Fortex Styles and Designs, Mike Hayes, Home Design Extras, Aaron Beckman, Leverage Roofing, Robert John Mullis, affiliate Colleen Ward, Palmetto Stone, Jason Morrow, Patriot Blinds and More, Daniel James, affiliate Morgan Keller. Revive Air, LLC, Nicholas DeLuca, affiliate Jonathan Dealing. Smash My Trash, Kevin Ford, affiliate Chris Jones. Two Brothers Woodwork, Adam Landry and Dave Landry. Now, will all the members, new members, please stand where you are seated and respond according to the pledge all together. As a member of the Horry-Georgetown Home Builders Association, do you pledge to assume the responsibilities listed in the Code of Ethics freely and solemnly, mindful that these responsibilities are part of your obligations as members for the Horry-Georgetown Home Builders Association? If so, respond by saying, "I do so pledge." Congratulations, you are now formally and officially members of the Horry-Georgetown Home Builders Association. As long as we're here working on membership, great job, guys. Why don't you get Jason get his steps in? It's pretty impressive. We have a local membership drive going on that started this month. The way we're going to work it is the Battle for the Barbecue. Southeast Insurance Consultants, who puts your play shoots, is going to put up a prize. The winner gets a barbecue dinner for 50. Basically, it'll be barbecue, beans, slaw, and banana pudding. The way it's going to work is it's the builders against the associates, trying to build up the association. Every time you sponsor a member, your name goes into a hat. At the end of the year, we see if the builders sponsor more, or the associates sponsor more, whichever one. We'll draw a name out of the hat. You sponsor one member, you get one shot at it. You sponsor 10 members, you get 10 shots at it. So at the end of September, we will draw it, and then at that point, be able to set up whether you want to do an office party, tailgate, holiday party, whatever. You'll have a barbecue dinner for 50. This month, also what we're doing is each month when you do that, when you sponsor a member, your name goes into a drawing for a gift card. John, miss you. Have a Krispy Kreme and Starbucks gift card. Kendall for the right of possession is 9/10 of the law, so I'll let the conscience guide you. The state also has a membership drive going on, and if you sponsor 5 new members during the membership drive, you will get a free registration to the State Home Builders Convention, which we are hosting here in Myrtle Beach in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. And I'll tell you, so we are, I don't know if anybody realizes this, we are now the 3rd largest association in the state of South Carolina. Our team and the actual staff that works at our Home Builders Association works tirelessly with our volunteers to build up our membership, and part of that is relying on you to help bring new members to our table and strengthen our organization so we can bring in great guest speakers, educate ourselves, and hold ourselves to a higher standard. So thank you all and thank them. All right, next up on our agenda, I'd like to invite up Stanley Haynes. He's going to talk to us about our spring clay tournament. In a minute. Not our trampoline tournament.
Hey, I hope everyone's doing well today. We have our spring clay tournament coming up next month. It is on April 8th. If you're interested, we've got a bunch of teams that have already signed up. We'd love to have you out there. And maybe if you're not a shooter, but you are interested in getting involved in it, we also have stand sponsorships. You can basically sponsor $100 for one of the stands for the shooters shoot. We'll put your company logo up so everyone can see that, and it's a great opportunity to network with all the people in our industry that are there. It's a lot of fun. We had the fall tournament last year that everyone really, really enjoyed. Registration is going to be $400 per team. And if you look on your tables, on one side of that little flyer there, there's a announcement about the tournament, and there's a QR code there. So if you take a picture with your phone, it'll give you a web link. You can go to that, and it'll actually take you to the website where you can register and pay and do everything on there, and then it'll email you confirmation if that's something you're interested to do it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us at the office, or Berkeley White, who's the chairman of that committee.
Thank you, Stanley. And if you haven't ever done the clay tournament, it is a blast, literally. It's a lot of fun. The first time I ever did it, we were with two other guys that had never shot before, and it didn't really matter. It was just having a great time. It's almost like a Captain's Choice golf tournament with shotguns. It doesn't really matter if you're good. It's just a great time. All right, so now we're going to give you an update on the home show. I don't know about you, if anyone was able to go out to the home show that wasn't a vendor, but the home show this year was an amazing success. It was absolutely stunning. So it went on from February 19th to the 21st. We had over 8,000 attendees come through the home show over that 3-day period. We had over 150 different vendors that were able to talk to potential clients and customers and generate leads for their services. And I know a lot of people coming out of soft winters are really dependent on those leads. So tremendous success. Another thing I would like to do is recognize, where is Leslie Hill? Leslie, will you stand for us?
What I do?
She's used to being in trouble. So Leslie heads up and takes care of our Humane Society silent auction and having the Humane Society there. This year, for our Grand Strand Humane Society, our silent auction raised over $21,000. I don't know who ended up with that chicken coop, but it was really cool. And we also, and just as importantly as the money we raised, at our event, there were 25 adoptions of new animals, including my own. I told the news on Friday, we did a brief interview, I told them that I had to keep my wife away, otherwise we were going to end up with a new dog, and Saturday morning, I ended up with a new dog. But yeah, it was a phenomenal event. We love, yes, please. We love having the Humane Society out there, and it was just a really great event. If you didn't have a chance to come out, we of course will have our fall show, and then we'll have our spring show again. We also had the Be Pro, Be Proud truck, which was phenomenal. I found out that I would make a really good forklift driver, but I'd be really slow. I also watched a 10-year-old practice driving a tractor trailer, and the instructor was standing behind him. He told him, all right, slow down, that car is ahead of you, and he slammed on the gas and just plowed through a Cadillac. It was something else. It was really phenomenal turnout. And with that, can I get, and I know they are going to hate me for this, can I get Roseanne and Tammy and Stanley? Well, Stanley, you don't stand. You kneel on your and Emily to stand for me. Guys, I don't know how many of us have had a chance to see other home shows, or other Home Builders Association home shows that they put on. But ours by far is one of the best put on, not just in our state, but in the country. We've had other vendors come to our show and tell us time and again how great our show performs. And this is our staff at the office. There's a lot more volunteers. I would never be able to name them all, but I want to give these staff members a recognition and a big round of applause for all the work they did to make it such a success. Thank you very much. All right, now will Kaylee McCarthy come forward to introduce our guest speaker for the day.
Sandy Davis is an Horry County native and a graduate from Coastal Carolina University. After earning her Bachelor of Arts in 2004, she entered the workforce with HTC. Prior to working for the MBREDC, Ms. Davis worked as the controller for Carolina Southern Railroad for 10 years. Ms. Davis also served as a professor at Horry-Georgetown Technical College when needed. Davis began her role as a Director of Operations with Myrtle Beach Regional EDC, and now serves as the President and CEO. Davis's duties include all financial aspects of the company, assisting existing industry in Horry County, and recruiting companies to expand or relocate to Horry County. Ms. Davis resides in Ano with her husband and son. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Kaylee. Good afternoon.
I'm going to start, I already said it earlier to a few other people that I made my notes before I come and I never stick to them, so I'm not sure why I did them. And I'm going to go ahead and stray in the very beginning. Jason was speaking about the Big Pro, Big Proud truck, and those are the skills that we use most of the time in the recruiting industry. So if you haven't had a chance to be a part of Big Pro, Big Proud, I think we have some more dates coming up at different areas in Horry County. And I will say I'm not a tractor trailer driver. I did not hit a Cadillac, but I did run over a cow. So being from Ainer, or living in Ainer now, it could very well happen. I'm sure many of you have heard about Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Corporation, and what we do is we try to expand and diversify Horry County. We love tourism and the hospitality jobs, and we know that that's always going to be part of a destination area. The reason that we were formed was to kind of keep some of the locals whose children were going away to college and not coming back, so a group kind of got together and they formed what they felt were the best initiatives for us. These 7 goals that we strive for each year are to expand and diversify the Horry County economy, create well-paying jobs for Horry County residents, provide opportunities for graduates to stay in our area, support and grow our existing industry, generate private sector buy-in and support for economic development, provide additional tax revenue to the county and also the municipalities and the school system, and to stimulate private sector growth and investment, most like what you do for the Home Builders Association. I will say that on the well-paying jobs for Horry County residents, when we were established, which was about 15 years ago, the average county wage at that time was around $13 an hour. And we are now, we try not to recruit any positions that are less than $16.21 an hour with full benefits. So you can see, usually manufacturing positions, for every 1 job that they're going to hire, it usually creates 3 somewhere else. So we do try to recruit manufacturing and warehouse, distribution, aviation, marine-related projects, but sometimes we get something new that we've never heard of, and I think some of those things are coming up for 2021. Existing industry, one of the most important pieces of our Economic Development Corporation. Of course, we want all of our existing industries to grow before we try to create others. And especially when we're out recruiting, we try to recruit companies that would be a benefit to the companies that we already have, and also that would hire positions that we are currently creating education programs for. So a lot of people say, why don't we have a Boeing? Well, I'm sure since we have many people in the room who own businesses, can you imagine how hard it would be to try to open the doors on the first day at a business here in Myrtle Beach or Horry County and hire 2,500 people? Do any of you, let me just see a show of hands, have trouble finding 10 people at one time? Do you drug test? Yes. Okay. You don't drug test, maybe you have a little better luck. But from what we're hearing from industry, it is very hard to find people who come in and will work and learn what you need to learn and pass a drug test. We recruited a company, CRP Industries, a few years ago. They are an automotive supplier. And he came from North Carolina. And I'm not talking bad about North Carolina. I'm just comparing it to what some people do here. Their wages were low, unskilled people, and he said they usually started around $9 to $10 an hour, but you know, if you're unskilled, they did offer health insurance, so that was also a plus. He said they had a food line across the road from their small town that they were located in, and that their employees would sometimes go to lunch, and at the food line you could buy scratch-off tickets. He said he had an employee that won $500 on his lunch break, and he never came back. He said about 2 weeks later, the guy came back and he was like, can I have my job back? And he said, where have you been? He said, I won $500 on a scratch-off ticket. And he said, well, how far did you think it was going to take you? And he said, I don't know, but I mean, when you're making $9 and $10 an hour, they think they hit the jackpot sometimes. So So that's what we're trying to do, is try to diversify the economy, bring higher paying jobs, and most of all, educate. We are trying to educate people as early as elementary school to learn, and I know you hear it in every speech people give about employment. Everybody cannot be a doctor or a lawyer. So we want people to know that manufacturing is not dirty. So if you are not familiar with manufacturing that is not dirty, please contact our office. We would love to show you some of the new facilities that we have in our area. But of course, our existing industry is one of the most important pieces. Prior to COVID, about 85% of the announcements that we had in South Carolina and pretty much all over the U.S. were existing industry expansions. We treat them just as a new customer. Any company coming in that hire 35 full-time employees, offer benefits and the wages as we just discussed, and make an investment of over $2.5 million over a 5-year period qualify for these incentives. 2020 was a slower year for many reasons, COVID obviously, and also an election year. We always notice during an election year, companies tend to get a little scared. They're not really sure what changes may come. So we continue to do our same reach out, which I'm going to discuss on how we recruit, because I know that's many questions people have. And we continued to recruit during COVID, but we did notice that it was a lot harder. One, we didn't have a lot of people who were able to travel and come to our area due to the restrictions either their companies had placed on them or things that they would not be able to see here. So it changed how we did things. But we were able to meet with over 200 existing industries in our area, provide the FEMA head scanning thermometers, and also just let them know ways that we could help, the CARES Act information, and introduce our new Director of Investor Relations, if you haven't met her, Sandra James. She joined our team in July of 2020, so right as COVID hit. So many people ask, how do we recruit? Marketing missions. That is where we leave and we go out of town for a week. And we try to target an area that seems to have a lot of interest in our area. Either we're tracking it by website or the calls that we are receiving. So for instance, last year, the first week of March, I was in New York when COVID was announced, and my husband was calling me, was like, you need to leave now, or you may get stuck there. But we have a lot of interest from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. It's our low tax rates, our low cost of property, believe it or not, low wages. Some of the companies there think $16 an hour is a great wage to pay, so it makes it easier for recruitment. But usually over a 3 to 4 day period, we meet with 10 to 12 companies. We tell them about our area, what they like to hear. We ask them, you know, what are the things that keep you up at night? What are your problems with your existing area? Or sometimes they're just looking to expand, not really relocate. But we try to find out what it is they're looking for. Another way is lead generation company provides us with companies that are looking at our area that are contacting them. They kind of work also like a site selection company. So they'll contact them and say, I'm looking to move my business. I need to be somewhere in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So then usually they set us up a call. We get about 20 to 25 of those a year from our lead generation company. Trade shows, I'm sure many of you attend trade shows. They have proven to be a little less productive for us over the past 5 years. Instead of, we used to go to trade shows and we would meet with the decision makers, and it seems to be a little bit more in the sales area now. So a lot of times the salespeople are not familiar with if the company is looking to expand. But we're scaling those back and we're still attending them. In addition to marketing mission and lead gen calls and trade shows, we work directly with South Carolina Department of Commerce, NISA, which is the Northeastern Strategic Alliance Group, Santee Cooper, South Carolina Power Team, direct calls, member referrals, and also Horry County and our cities that send trips to us as well. Our goal for these trips and visits is to increase a database of the companies that are looking at us at this time. And right now we're working 413 leads and 33 projects. Leads are simply people who are contacting us wanting to know any type of question. Do you have buildings? Do you have the employment skills that we would need for our company? A project is when it becomes a little more serious and they fill out their paperwork, want to know what type of incentives they can get. They visit, they tour facilities, and at that point we kind of take it to county council or either the city and see if they're interested in moving the project forward. One thing that I know I've heard before when I've been an attendee of these meetings is about the interstate. And how does the interstate affect business? Well, I'm going to tell you as far as when I'm traveling, the companies that I meet with, they already know I do not have an interstate because we do not try to target someone who is specifically looking for an interstate. If the project comes through South Carolina Department of Commerce or NISA and they say we have to have an interstate or be within 10 to 15 minutes from an interstate, I never even get a shot at the project. So we do not know how many companies we do not get to talk to because of the interstate. I do want to share that a company called Technoware that located in Conway in the Atlantic Center on Highway 501, we met with them. It was just an accident, really, that we met with them. And they were saying they needed an interstate, and I said, well, just give me a shot. Just come look, let me take you. You can get anywhere in our county within 45 minutes if you stay on 22 and 31. I think, just give me a shot. Well, he agreed to come. I'm showing buildings everywhere except for Highway 501. And he pulls out his phone. He said, what about this? It's located in the Atlantic Center across from Horry-Georgetown Tech. I was like, oh no. So we went. It happened to be like in May. Believe it or not, I don't know what happened that day. The moons just lined up. There was no traffic on 501. And all I could think was, I'll take you anywhere but there. And we got over there. He purchased the last 9.4 acres in the Atlantic Center that the county owned at that time. He's happy. He thinks it's great. If I had known in Connecticut that he lived 10 minutes away from his current facility and it took him an hour and a half to get there, I really would have taken him to 501. But at that time, I did not know. So the interstate makes a big difference only on paper. If people would actually visit and see that there are so many other options and it's not like it is in Connecticut or New York, I think we would have a much better shot. But I know that's one of the main questions, so I wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. That is why we do not try to recruit Boeing, and that's why we do not have an interstate. So another one of the things that I think we get asked is about buildings. Well, I know most of you are all builders or have some type of building skills, so I just want to say we don't have any buildings. We have 0 industrial buildings over 35,000 square feet. I lost 2 projects this year to Marion County simply because they had the buildings and I didn't have any. The last building that I had that was for sale, and you may still see them on our website because we have not announced them yet, and I cannot tell you who they are because I've signed an NDA. But the last building that I did have available, that was 50,000 square feet, now has a contract. I have a contract that is currently being typed up for a company that was not looking to sell their building. But we had someone from New York come and knock on their door. So we just tried it, and now I've got to find an existing industry of building so that they can move, so this company can have their building. I mean, truly, there are no buildings for industry in our area right now. Ascot Valley. I know that's a crazy name, it doesn't really go with it, but if you've been here for a long time, it's the former site of Conway Mill off of Adrian Highway, and that has been for sale for over 10 to 12 years. Santee Cooper purchased it. I think their plan in the beginning was to sell it all as one big industrial parcel to a company. Well, it had not sold, so about 5 years ago we decided we would begin a master plan process. I know many of you probably know what that's like. Unfortunately, I did not, so it did take a long time. And we have just had that permitted, and I'm going to say there's probably about 17 different lots and all of them have sold except for 2. Again, we haven't been able to announce them all because of NDAs and when timing issues for them. But, I mean, it's crazy that over the past 24 months, something can move that fast, which I'm sure all of you know. I did look today at our Horry County permitting, and 296 residential permits were pulled in February 2020 versus 350 in February 2021, so that was an 18% increase. From July 2019 through February 2020, 2,197 permits were pulled for residential building versus July 20 through February 2021, 2,960. So that was a 35% increase. So economic development is not just about bringing in industries, but bringing in people who would be able to sustain the jobs that we're looking at. And I know that we were speaking earlier at our table, and it kind of brought up something that I was going to talk about. A lot of people retire here at the age of 40 to 45, and they say, oh, I'm going to move to Myrtle Beach, we're going to play golf every day. And about a year after, I usually say they get bored, but it could be the same situation at this table. I won't call any names. But maybe the wife says it's time for you to go. You need to get a job again. We're not both working out in this house all day. So we actually get a lot of great plant managers that way. That is, they move down here, they have great skills. They're from a more heavy industrialized area than what we have here. And it works out really well for our area. And I think not only are CEOs moving here, but their kids are moving here. Our age demographics are really changing. Everyone used to say that we are a retirement community now, that our ages 60 and up are the majority, but we actually have a huge growth area projections for the next 5 years from about the age 14 to 25. So that could be some really great employees for us coming up, especially if we can keep them in Horry County. Last year, when we began addressing some of these hurdles that we were looking for in buildings, we had some people come to us and tell us, hey, I want to build a building. I really want to get you some buildings built. Well, I do think that we now have the opportunity to utilize some of our land that the MBREDC or either Horry County, C&T Cooper own. So if any of you are interested in industrial building, please see me. Contact us. If you're looking to sell, if you're in real estate and you're working with any industries, please visit our website. It is a mouthful. It's mbredc.org. And click on, up in the left-hand corner, you can click on our menu and go to available sites. Due to COVID, we now have 5 new virtual videos that South Carolina Department of Commerce funded for us. And you can see all of our parks that are available, and also a few buildings. We do have a few buildings that are large and have multi-tenants that have some small spaces available. But if you have any interest in our organization, whether it be membership, being a part of what we do, existing industry, networking, or wanting to know how you can help us, and if you're looking to build any industrial buildings, I'd be happy to do that. Just let us know, reach out to us. You can find us on our website. It has our email address and our phone numbers listed. And we're excited about 2021, the direction that we're moving in. We should have 2 projects announced before the end of the first quarter, which is coming up rapidly. But maybe it might be April, and we should have 2 additional announced before October that are already on our books. So we're really excited, and I hope you all will be too when you see new companies opening. If you know anyone who's interested, please have them reach out to SC Works. That's usually how we go about it. They will advertise for free for them. But if I can ever help in any way, or you have any questions about anything we do, I'll be glad to talk with you after. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy. And I think what they do is really important. I've actually, before I moved back home and became a builder, I actually did quite a bit of work with an economic development team. I was part of a greenfield development team in Virginia. And so I know how important their work is. And just remember what Mark Nix always says, and he's quoting someone else when he says it. I cannot remember the name to save my life, but a house is where a job goes home to sleep. So every new job they create is a new opportunity for us. Next up, we're going to reveal our mystery handshake. All right, at this time, we're going to open up the floor. If anyone has any old or new business they'd like to discuss, you're welcome to come up. All right, seeing none, we're going to move past that. The next up, we are going to have Stanley come up and talk to us about the virtual bird supper.
Hey again. If you look on the other side of the flyer on your table, it has a little information about the virtual bird supper. That's an event put on by the HGHBA of South Carolina, which as a member of the HGHBA, you're also a member of the state and national organizations. And that is an opportunity you can meet with the legislators in South Carolina, and they're going to go over some updates about what's going on with the legislative session. With the COVID restrictions, that this year they're going to do it virtually, just because by the time they could do in person, the legislative session would be over. And so that will be taking place, and there's information on the back of those flyers. And if you have any questions about that, it's free to the members, and just contact us at the office.
Okay, thank you so much. Real quick before we adjourn, if you are a board member, I need to see you guys for about 5 minutes after the meeting. If you'll come up front, we have a quick matter of business that we need to discuss. Otherwise, thank you all so much for your attendance today. It was great seeing everyone. We will see you again in April.